Well, I made it to the Kuttawa Cemetery. This is in Kentucky. I don't know if I will find any or many or who I'll find here of my ancestors, but I'm hoping I will find some. Now, this isn't any of my ancestors, at least I don't know it is because I cannot see any name upon the outside. But I thought it was interesting. A couple of observations I've made so far. It seems that most families are kind of grouped together. And then it's interesting to see that cemeteries everywhere have the same problem. I mean, look how this is like, really odd placement, And then we have a few that are kind of tipped over and looking like they need repair. So I guess cemeteries everywhere have the same problem, maintaining. This was interesting. I noticed another over another headstone the same way. Headstone shaped like a tree. I don't know. I doubt if it is a real tree. I mean, it looks like a tree. Maybe it is. Maybe they petrified it somehow. But I've never seen a headstone quite like that before. I had a quick thought because I've noticed a number of the headstones kind of shifting, or they're almost tipping over, and I'm thinking, well, if the graves were moved, would that be a cause of it, or does being so close to so much water cause the ground to be more malleable, or something? I'd like to clarify my last comments. I said the graves being moved. There was a lady I talked to there in Kentucky who said that she thought she heard that when the old city of Kuttawa was moved for the damming of the, and I think it was the Cumberland River, might have been the Tennessee River, I'm not quite sure on that, to where the old city was flooded. She thought she heard that the graves were also moved at that time, and that is the inference I'm making in referring to the graves in the cemetery being moved. It's quite remarkable when you look at it, and it just makes you wonder is it the water nearby? Is it a possibility of the graves actually having been moved? I don't know anything about earth and how to find a foundation on which to set something heavy like a gravestone on, but that just makes me curious. I just can't help but be amazed at this. I've never seen a cemetery on a hill like this, and it makes me wonder, did they just see the hill and just start moving everybody over here, and then all these years later the ground kind of crumbles or something, and you see all these heavy headstones just kind of jostling around. I sure hope I find someone with my name. Oh, this is interesting. I have a friend, I have to take a picture of this. I have a friend who has a brother named Robert Gore. I think I should have worn my hiking boots because I don't know how people get up here for the ceremony, the burials, because it's just, it's almost like a straight climb up a mountain. I haven't found any sextons yet, and I'm kind of worried I may not, but it's an experience. I believe I'm in a newer section of the cemetery now because all the dates are a little more recent, and I don't see many of the headstones that are tumbled over like the older sections will have. It is quite a climb. You'll get your workout climbing up to the top there. And I do appreciate, I'm going to have to look when I get back to Kansas, the number of headstones that have names on both sides. Makes it a lot easier for someone like myself, looking for a particular name, which I still haven't found. It's funny, as I wander through here looking for a headstone with the name Sexton on it, I can't help but think of that wonderful book, The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, and just thinking, I'd like to shout out and say, hey, any sextons here? But I know it doesn't work that way. Well, I just turned my head around and look what I see. I finally come across one. I think I know who it is. It should be a Neil and Rowena Sexton. Well, let me find out. Maybe this is the Sexton area. Who do we got here? And it doesn't say. Oh, we got a whole bunch. Okay. Looks like, okay, there's Neil Wake Sexton, Rowena Wake Sexton, Charles Duke Sexton, Neil Ross Sexton. I wonder if these are up here, if these are probably connected. It's funny how they place every, I mean, if there's 7 people buried here, that's a lot of small space. Let me get some pictures. Now this is very odd. I do not understand this. I've never seen, you know, name is Willis, and there's another Willis just up. So is this, what is this? You know, how in the world, I don't understand that. You know, I never really thought about it before, but I have to wonder with what's right behind me, that tree stump that's kind of protruding out of the ground, what damage do trees do in cemeteries? I mean, they're nice, they provide some shade, but when you have the roots that dig down into the earth, do they shift the coffins around any? I mean, it just a puzzling question that just kind of struck me when I saw that there. You know, it kind of makes you wonder when you see all these graves, all these headstones all together, sometimes kind of pushed together on the side of the hill, and you look all the way over here and there's one all by itself. You know, like, was this person a cast-off? I mean, how do you get, or is this just the start of a new plot of land, you know, that they're going to start burying people over here in? I don't know if this is a grave too, but maybe just a broken piece of something. Mr. Willie Cleston Jenkins Sr. Surely. Well, he's a war vet too, so let's just be the start of a new branching off. I guess you really can't bury people on the side of a hill, can you? I don't know, but for me, if I had my choice, I think I'd probably look for a gravestone like this, because this is obviously personally done by the children. And, well, yeah, there's a piece broken off and all, and you really can't tell much. J.D. Perkins, father, Emma Perkins, mother, born 1863, died 1924. I made it almost back to the road, back to the highway that'll lead me back to the marina. I just wanted to show you where I came from, all that area. Out of breath. And I came to this very interesting headstone. A gentleman who was born in 1859, died 1893. Well, I think I am done. I think I've covered every grave that's here. And it's astounding to me how they're so spread out. I mean, you've got all the headstones that are on the hill there, and then you go over here, and I don't know if you can pick that up, but it's like they're just kind of haphazardly planted, you know, buried in one place and then another, and I don't know. But as long as they get buried, and now it's back to the car and see what else is in store for the day. Well, at the top of the climb in the Kuttawa Cemetery, this is what I found. I think there's 3, maybe 4 graves positioned at the very top. Don't recall if they were all related. I think this one and then the 2 coming up were, but I cannot recall exactly. But it was interesting to see, you know, and I have no idea who these people were, if they were major contributors to Kuttawa society or not, but they were at the top. This was interesting. I've never seen a grave that was shaped in the form of a bed. Now, in my further perusal of cemeteries, I have come across others like this, but this was the first. Well, it's getting into evening hours now. I just returned to the cabin here at the KOA campgrounds. As far as any genealogy, family research I managed today, I visited, the first thing, I visited the Kuttawa Cemetery. And initially I thought, I'm not going to find anything, you know, because I was going through one grave after the next and I wasn't even finding anything. But then I crossed upon a Neil sexton and a bunch of other sextons, and at the end of it all, I probably, I guess maybe a dozen, 14 or 15 different sextons. So it was a fruitful effort. What is disappointing is I didn't find any sextons that made a direct connection to my line. I'd have to recheck my family tree research, but I believe that the James Sexton that brought my dad's grandfather into Kansas was a brother to a William Henry Sexton. I think that was him. I'm thinking that he's the one who moved into Kentucky and then started the Sexton line here. According to the research I have, he died in Kentucky. He lived in Kuttawa, and it says he died in Lyon County, which is what the county where Kuttawa is. Man, my nose is red. How in the world did I get my nose so red? Jeez, I look at myself and, brother, what did you do to get that red nose? Ugh. So I didn't find any of the graves of that era, and I haven't located any phone book. I might go to the office here and ask them if they have a phone book. It might be of the area. But even if I did find a sexton in the phone book, would I have the courage to call them up and say anything? Probably not. And that might be a bad thing. That might be just normal. I don't know. But tomorrow I'd like to attend church, but I just don't want to attend any church. I mean, there's a Church of Christ just down the road here, but I'd like to see if I could find where the church is that was moved from Kuttawa. When Kuttawa was flooded, they moved the church, and if I would have been thinking about it, I would have gone to the library this morning, and because I remember seeing a picture with information on that, and I just didn't read it. You know, my mistake. And then attend that service, and maybe, well, I missed visiting the Bison and Elk Reserve today, so I'm hoping they'll be open tomorrow. If not, well, you know, maybe some other time.